Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to IPDAE's webinar Wednesday. My name is Dr. Ramin Yazdan-Pana, and I'm very excited and honored to present IPDAE's latest professional learning course, Teaching Adult ESOL in Corrections Education. I'm also excited because of the amazing educators I'm hopeful that this course will support. I've had the pleasure of meeting adult correctional educators throughout the state, and really, you all are amongst the most dedicated and brilliant educators I've ever met. So anything that we can do to support you and your students and your mission is our honor. As I mentioned before, please let us know where you're joining us from and the name of your adult education program in the chat so we can all kind of say hello and see where we're all coming from and work towards developing and our community of teaching practice here among adult educators, specifically in correctional facilities. Okay, so as I mentioned, my name is Ramin Yazdan-Pana. I'm the IPDAE Senior Course Developer. And if you need to contact me, like to contact me, I hope you will contact me with any questions, suggestions, feedback about our course. If you have any questions for now, please type them into the Q&A option. As you know, attendee microphones are muted. You'll be only in listen mode. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be archived and available on the IPDAE website within 48 hours. So in our presentation today, we're going to cover the following. We're going to discuss briefly course development milestones, then key findings of our course needs assessment, how those findings have informed our course goal, outcomes, and objectives, as well as our course level activities and resources. And finally, we'll talk a little bit about our course delivery and leave some time for any questions that you may have. Okay, so course development milestones. So it's important to share the process of the course development to understand that the course content is based on the series of needs assessment meetings and questionnaires that we conducted with the Florida DOE and DOC. So I want to express my gratitude to the supportive personnel at the DOE and DOC, as well as all of the educators who participated in our needs analysis and for your ongoing support. So we can see here on our timeline starting at 7/2024, we had a meeting with the Department of Corrections personnel. And then we followed that up with getting feedback on a needs assessment that we developed in order to distribute to the key stakeholders. You know, in this case, it was mainly teachers, administrators of adult ESOL correctional programs. And so we followed that up. We discussed and shared our needs assessment in August of 2024 with DOC personnel and discussed how that could inform, right, our course potentially. So sharing that feedback that I'm going to share with you right now, as well as plan for site visits to several Florida correctional institutions. So aside from those site visits, of course, IPDAE also had the opportunity to conduct in-person workshops at several correctional institutions across the state. And so that was also helpful just to talk to people, get insight on needs, on goals, on strengths, right, to leverage in our course community. So here in we can see on 11/24 presented draft course goal and outcomes and objectives. So that was an opportunity again to kind of share initial draft course goals, outcomes, and objectives, get feedback. You can see how this is an iterative process where it's a lot of sharing, collaboration, feedback. It's a two-way effort here to develop a course that really is serving the needs of adult educators in correctional institutions. So from there, we presented revised course goals, outcomes, and objectives. And from there, we've been sharing monthly course development updates. So we're really happy to share this kind of initial draft here with you. And so to invite you as well to share any kind of feedback that you may have on the course design, and course content. We are planning to launch the course in the fall of this year. So look out for registration emails for the course. Those should be coming out late July, early August. If you are registered through IPDAE on the IPDAE website, then you will automatically be on that listserv. So if you're not registered with that free registration on the IPDAE website, I encourage you to do so you get all the information and updates about IPDAE activities. Okay, so some key findings of our course needs assessment. So I'd like to briefly share the key findings of our needs assessment from this past summer, as they really were instrumental to informing our course design and development. So we can see here under respondent demographics and teaching experience, we had about 88 responses. Most of them were from teachers, 92% holding full-time positions. And you can see their teaching roles. So most of them were civilian teachers, of course, in addition to inmate teaching assistants and education aides. Under teaching experience, we see that more than 10 years of teaching experience was around 36%, 1 to 4 years was around 28%, and 5 to 10 years was around 21%. Less than a year was almost 14%. So you can see how there's a wide spectrum as far as experience, from kind of teachers who are coming in as kind of entry level to those who have more experience. This was very interesting with ESOL teaching experience specifically. 70.45% have less than 1 year of experience. So this really kind of points to the need of professional development, specifically within ESOL for adult educators in corrections. So concerning evaluation and feedback of teachers, as far as how much evaluation and feedback that teachers currently receive, we got some responses that there's a lack of clarity and uncertainty of how ESOL instructors are evaluated, as well as a substantial number indicated that there were no formal evaluations that do occur. No formal evaluations, and evaluations that do occur are based on performance or supervisor feedback. So that indicates a need for understanding potential kind of, evaluations, whether that be through peer evaluations or administrative evaluations, to support the needs and the professional learning of educators in correctional facilities. Needs and opportunities for growth for civilian teachers indicated that there was a lack of resources, a lack of training, potential language barriers between students and teachers, and really a presence of mixed ability classrooms. So really indicating kind of a need for strategies to address these realities, right? As well as pointing to potential resources that could be leveraged. Needs and growth areas for teachers. So training materials, lack of ESOL specific training and resources, making it difficult to support learners effectively. Of course, that's what we're aiming to address here through our course. Language proficiency, a need for more bilingual inmate tutors who can communicate effectively with ESOL learners. So that informed potential strategies that teachers could utilize, leveraging the strengths and the funds of knowledge and experiences, and in this case, the language ability of inmate tutors and aides and peers, okay, in the classroom. And also limited ESOL programs. So just a lack of formal ESOL programs, making it harder for inmate tutors and teachers to provide structured support. Needs and growth areas for learners. So access to ESOL specific curriculum. So through the needs analysis, they indicated a limited access to appropriate language learning resources, Again, language barriers, significant challenges due to language differences, including basic literacy skills in English. So not just, a difference in language, but also uh, understanding of these kind of basic literacy skills that are needed. And insufficient support. So lack of differentiated and individualized instruction resulting in frustration and limited progress. Again, all areas to address in professional learning. Areas of growth in implementing ESOL programs in correctional settings. So structural barriers, limited resources, staffing shortages, and the absence of a dedicated ESOL program, need for bilingual staff, as well as assessment and progress tracking. So you can see that with some things we can address in this course, right? But even with structural barriers, we can potentially point to resources that course participants can utilize in order to provide greater resources in their programs, as well as advocating for a dedicated ESOL program. Desired topics for professional learning, practical strategies for teaching ESOL, curriculum resources and teaching materials, skills for overcoming language barriers and varying communication styles, methods to support ESOL learners in correctional settings. And then finally, just some recommended resources. We asked in the needs analysis for recommended resources just to kind of, gauge what could be some potential resources that we utilize or at least share in the course. Okay, so now the following course goals, outcomes, and objectives were developed based on the needs analysis findings that we just went over, as well as follow-up focus group discussions conducted with key stakeholders, teachers, administrators, and trainers. So this is the course kind of goal that we've crafted. So this 14-week professional learning course is designed to prepare educators in corrections settings with practical strategies focused on andragogy, the teaching of adults, based on teaching ESOL, English to speakers of other languages, research and methodology to support adult ESOL learners' academic and professional goals for community reentry. So just let me know in the chat there what you think about that course goal. Is that clear? Does that kind of help to just kind of, capture the overall description and the course in a clear way? And let me know if you have any suggestions in the chat as well. Thank you, Thomas. So now our course outcomes. The first is apply adult ESOL teaching principles. The second outcome is detail appropriate standards-based instruction across different English language skills. The third is apply research-based theories to the planning and instruction of ESOL and correction settings. The fourth outcome is apply strategies to facilitate ESOL learning correction settings to support adult ESOL learners' academic and professional goals for community reentry. And five, implement professional learning practices as they relate to the teaching of adult ESOL and correction settings. All right, thank you all for your feedback here in the chat here, Linda. Yes, we look forward to learning practical ESOL strategies with adults as well and sharing those collaboratively in our course. So from here, let's do a deeper dive into each course outcome by looking at the objectives. So you'll see in this first outcome, apply adult ESOL teaching practices, we have 5 objectives. So the first few objectives are specific to the course outcome, while the others you'll see that repeat across outcomes and modules. So this will become clearer when you see the course modules and activities in a moment. But for now, the first 2 objectives set the stage for the course by introducing competencies and frameworks of adult instruction and professional learning in correction settings. So we'll see here, analyze competencies and frameworks of adult instruction, professional learning, and correction settings. So this is really kind of understanding the core competencies that are involved here to give the bigger kind of picture. And then from there, the course takes an asset approach, right, to identify instructional strengths and areas of growth. This has taken an asset approach in lieu of a deficit approach to encourage course participants to identify instructional strengths and areas of growth. This also serves as a model to encourage a similar approach that teachers can apply with their students by taking an asset approach instead of a deficit approach, right? Building on strengths, understanding what the strengths are of our students, of course, also understanding needs and areas for development, but really understanding what strengths, motivations, interests are to leverage those towards language and literacy development. You'll see that in the next objective, 1.3, articulate professional learning goals, is intended for course participants to reflect and envision how they can apply course concepts to support their instruction and their students' learning. Objective 1.4, share resources and strategies that support adult ESOL teachers and students, is to facilitate the exchange of resources between course participants. We understand that in addition to resources that we're sharing in the course, that you all are incredible sources of great knowledge and experience and resources that can be shared. So we try to leverage those strengths, those experiences, as much as possible to share among course participants. Of course, these course participants are going to be you all, those across the state, potentially across the country, in correctional facilities that are teaching in similar situations, right, with similar students. So this is an opportunity to share resources, ask for resources, and to really build our archive of resources to then share with our colleagues. And then finally, objective 1.5, provide feedback on the module activities and set personal learning goals for the next module, serves as an exit ticket, in a sense, to encourage self and course feedback, reflection, and goal setting. So these are actually 3 brief questions that ask after each module, what was something that was done well, right? What was something that is still developing or kind of learning in the process of developing or learning? And then also, what are some goals for moving forward in the course? Again, kind of modeling an exit ticket and how we can engage with our students as well. Okay, moving on here to the next outcome and objective, detail appropriate standards-based instruction across different English language skills. We have objective 2.1, analyze English language learner needs, challenges, strengths, and goals with the goal of community reentry. So again, this applies an asset approach in lieu of a deficit approach to encourage course participants to identify these aspects of their students, to help guide instruction and to meet learner goals, increase motivation, and increase learner persistence. Objective 2.2, apply level appropriate adult ESOL standards that align with learner needs and goals, guides course participants in utilizing DOE curriculum frameworks, as well as frameworks for understanding English language proficiency level, standards, and competencies. So this is really, again, kind of like understanding what resources are available, what is really kind of guiding, right, the instruction, the bigger kind of picture, and how to utilize those resources to align and to support instruction. It's not prescriptive, it's just a way to kind of support. And of course, 2.3 through 2.5, we looked at there, and we'll see how this is expressed in the course activities here shortly. Outcome 3, apply research-based theories to the planning and instruction of ESOL in correctional settings. 3.1, analyze ESOL teaching and learning theory and competencies. And 3.2, identifying ESOL teaching principles to describe and improve instructional practices. So this is where we're really getting into ESOL specific teaching, theory, and principles, right? So again, this is all super important to understand as we are starting to get in the course now of analyzing these different learning theories and competencies, how they're applied in the classroom, and how they inform our teaching approaches, which we'll see in the next objective. So apply research-based methods and strategies to effectively facilitate ESOL teaching and learning in correctional settings to support learners' academic and professional goals for community reentry. So we have the way that we accomplish this is through, for example, 4.1 analysis of ESOL teaching methods and strategies to plan and facilitate adult ESOL instruction. So you can see here, there's always an initial analysis, right, of these methods, strategies, and theories, and then there's an application. So applying methods and strategies to facilitate adult ESOL instruction. We understand that analysis is a precursor to application. And so we provide as many of these examples of these best practices and these resources to analyze, to discuss before we apply them to meet our needs, right? To meet your needs and your learners' needs. Okay, I'm just taking a brief moment to look at the chat, and there's a lot of about certificate of completion. Yes, you will get a cert. Oh, thank you, Tammy. You've already answered this. And Linda, yes, this course is for teachers who are either already ESOL endorsed or not endorsed. Okay, so it's open to any ESOL teachers. And then finally, we have present a lesson plan that addresses adult ESOL learners' needs in correctional settings to share as a teacher resource. So we'll do this by analyzing approaches to ESOL lesson planning and then actually designing a lesson plan that addresses adult ESOL learners' needs in correctional settings to share as a teacher resource within our course community, as well as potentially with a larger community of adult educators through IPDAE. So again, we'll take a look at that here shortly. So here we are with our course level activities and resources. So within each module that we'll look at here shortly, we have a module overview of objectives and activities. We have learner and teacher profiles to contextualize content in correctional settings. As I mentioned before, an analysis of adult ESOL principles and strategies from course resources, and then an application task to apply principles and strategies to teaching. We have reflect and envision activities for teaching and professional learning. So really reflecting on our own as educators, our own learning, our own past learning, and our own past teaching, as well as envisioning how we could apply course concepts with our students. Resource share, as I mentioned before, for participants to share and discuss resources, and then a short questionnaire for course feedback and goal setting. This is an asynchronous course, meaning that it is mostly where it's self-guided. There are course and assignment deadlines and due dates. That's to keep everyone going along at the same time and engaging as much as possible. But there are opportunities every other week for a synchronous online meeting, right? And this is basically, as I say, it's to talk shop, right? It's a great place for educators like us to discuss the course content, how we're applying the content, as well as ask any questions and exchange ideas, resources, experiences. So it's one of my favorite parts of this course is getting the opportunity to talk shop with you all. Okay, and so we see here we have our 5 modules. So module 1 are key competencies of adult instruction. Module 2, knowing our adult ESOL learners. Module 3, adult ESOL teaching frameworks. Module 4, adult ESOL methods and strategies. And module 5, lesson plan exchange. So I'm going to switch the share here to give a live view of our, this is a student view here, of our course. Now, this course is still in development, under construction. We're still we're going to be sharing this course development with the DOE next week, and of course, always getting feedback from the DOC, and always open to feedback from you all, right, from the key stakeholders. So we can see here how we have a questionnaire. And this is just to kind of gather basic information and needs assessment, goals, motivations, interests, topics, strengths from the course participants. So we have that in a course questionnaire. We have course resources. So these are module terms and definitions. So one place to have all of our course terms and definitions, as well as a resource for ESOL and literacy that's really an incredible resource that has been really a library, right, of resources on these topics that is work in progress, is always adding to. So you can see some of these important topics to us as adult educators um, that you can utilize, that we do utilize in the course, and that you can utilize and share with your colleagues as well. So going back to the modules, you can see we have our 5 modules here, right? So within each module, I'm just going to kind of give you a quick tour here. This is module 1. So we have a module overview, an analysis activity, an application activity, reflect and envision activity, resource share, and feedback. So you can see how those course outcomes and objectives are aligned within each module overview, right? So it has those objectives here. Module overview video is coming soon. We like to make these as high touch as possible, meaning that even though it is an online course, we provide as much multimedia as possible, as much instructor presentations as possible, as many resources, multimedia, text, video, audio resources as possible to support course participants. So we have our objectives here, and we have this module map to show module activities, the activity description, activity resources, and how it aligns with objectives. Okay, and so you can see here just kind of, again, just doing a fairly quick scroll. So you can see this analysis. This one is one of adult correctional educator instructors. And you can see how this is really an analysis activity to analyze, as we see here, key competencies of adult instruction. So we're using this model teacher profile of SAM to analyze these key competencies and then subsequently applying these key competencies to our own professional learning. So we have these key competencies of essential domains for effective teaching, effective adult education teaching. So you can see here and just a discussion, right? Discussion questions, profile videos to analyze, not all of them, but you can select one. And then the way that you engage in the course is through these discussion posts, right? And so these discussion posts, you can type in here, okay, comments, and then you can also upload media. So we're using the learning management system, Canvas. So Canvas is a great learning management system for courses, professional learning courses like this. And as we go through the course here, we can see here now on application activity. So this is with some content to read. In this case, it's the adult education teacher competencies. Okay, and a little activity here. Again, additional resources not required but recommended. These specifically here for ESOL. And just going forward, here are reflect and envision past experiences, present strengths, and future goals. All right. Within each activity, there's a rubric here, so you can see the rubric and how you will be evaluated. Just clicking forward here, resource share. Okay, so you can see how it's asking here in an original post, share a resource that you feel will be helpful to other corrections educators and why you feel the resource is valuable. If you do not have a resource to share, you can comment on our participants' post and describe how it could be useful in your teaching. Alternatively, you can select a video from the following teacher demonstration videos to view, share, and comment on. So this is a nice list here of excellent teacher demonstration videos across different teaching strategies that you can see them in action, okay? And then finally, you have the brief questionnaire, okay? As this approach is to model exit ticket activities that you might want to apply with your adult learners, a way to collect feedback, okay? And you can see that the feedback here is what is one highlight from this module? For example, something you are proud of or have learned. What is a topic from this module? For example, an activity that was difficult or a concept you are still processing. and what is a personal learning goal for the following module. So that is just one example here of our course activities. You can see that these are here for each module. Module 2, knowing our adult ESOL learners. Okay, student analysis and learning plans. Module 3, adult ESOL teaching frameworks. Second language teaching theories and competencies and application of key principles of teaching ESOL. Module 4, an analysis of teaching methods and strategies and an application of key considerations of instructional planning. And then Module 5, a lesson plan exchange, where we utilize some templates that to organize a lesson and to share them again among our course community, as well as potentially through IPDAE for our greater community of adult educators throughout the state and the country. Okay, coming back here to our slide deck. Okay, and as I mentioned before, we are using the course is delivered online using IPDAE Canvas Learning Management System. This course is going to be available for civilian teachers in correction settings, as well as potentially inmate teaching assistants and tutors. That's something we're still discussing, but that is a potential goal. The content is asynchronous and as well as synchronous live meetings. Okay, so please let me know using the Q&A, or if you'd like, you can post it directly in the chat if you have any questions. Okay, I'm seeing something in the Q&A. Thank you. Looks great. That's nice feedback. Thank you so much, Joey. So yes, I hope this this course looks good to you as well. Again, this is always a process that we are developing. All of our courses are, a work in progress, and they should be, right? Because they are really meant to address your needs and our learners' needs as they evolve and develop. So thank you so much, Maria. Again, be on the lookout for the announcement from the email from IPDAE. You should be seeing an email if you are on the IPDAE listserv. I'm just going to share really quickly here. If you are not on the IPDAE listserv, one way that you can do that is just to register for a free account on IPDAE. You can just do that by logging in and then creating a free username and password. I highly recommend it. You're going to have amazing access to resources, to events, and to, of course, our professional learning courses. Yes, and as far as points towards certification with this course, that is something that you will really need to discuss with your local admin, whoever is providing points and CEUs towards certification with this course, because every district is different. I know many districts do provide that, but it's something that you'll have to discuss. You will receive after the successful completion of the course, a 50-hour certificate of completion from IPDAE and the Florida Department of Education. Yeah, thank you. Okay, coming back to our slide deck here. Thank you for your questions. Yeah, so the course on Canvas, registration for the course will be sent through email. Once you register for the course and are registered for the course, you will then be able to access the course. You'll be provided a username and password to access the course. Oh, thank you, Heather. According to Suzanne Green, all our IPDAE training counts. Okay. Towards CEUs. Michael posted here courses that apply to the ESOL and the SOE if you're required for it. Um, as requires 3 college credits. It does apply to the PAS, Competency 11, the ability to recognize and demonstrate awareness of educational needs of students who have limited proficiency in English and employ appropriate teaching strategies. And then, okay, so it seems like they're negotiating a little bit about how what can be counted. Again, that is so important for you to just kind of share, of course, once you're registered for the course, and even before you're registered, in that email, we'll be providing a course syllabus and more information. You can, of course, also share the recording of this webinar to anyone you need to discuss to get CEUs and certification. Okay, I'm just looking here in the Q&A. So will the course be conducted online or in person? The course will be conducted mostly asynchronously, which means like online, but there will be opportunities every other week for synchronous meetings where you will have access to your camera and your microphone, so we can discuss things in real time. I believe anyone is eligible to take this course. So again, just make sure that you're registered with IPDAE. So you provide your information so you're on the listserv and get notification of registration. Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne, I will upload any certificate points. Okay, great. Okay, great questions. All right. Thank you. This is why I love our correctional educators. You all are active and with asking fantastic questions and providing a lot of support. So thank you all for your interaction and your support in the Q&A and in the chat. Okay. So again, I'd like to just kind of thank everyone who has contributed to the development of this course and is continuing to contribute. Thank you to the amazing IPDAE team and for the Florida Department of Education and Department of Corrections for your support. We really are lucky to have such wonderful people and experts who are passionate about supporting adult educators and students. Again, IPDAE has provided this presentation in PDF format on the IPDAE website, and the recording will be available within 48 hours for review and sharing. I really hope that your experience in this webinar contributes positively to your professional learning, and that I hope to see you in this course so we can learn together. Our next webinar will be a Tech Tuesday. It's on May 27th at 1 p.m. It is titled Meet Them There, and it's focused on reaching students more effectively using Google Apps. So if you could please take the feedback survey. And again, thank you all for your active and lively interaction on the chat. I really appreciate our cooperative and collaborative efforts. Thank you all for your time, attention to this presentation, as well as to your own professional growth. Wishing you all the very best.